Salvete again, Discipuli. Now we're talking about Hermes. So we're continuing with the Olympians. You've now watched videos and looked at pictures and done your own version and typed up paragraphs about Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Hephaestus, and now Hermes. Hermes we have here in the middle. Hermes is the messenger of the gods. He's a traveler god. He represents everything that involves quick, speedy movement. So business, commerce, trade, theft, and delivering messages. The thing that's going to always be with Hermes, without any exceptions that I can think of, is this strange staff that he has, which is called the caduceus, or a herald's staff. That is, the staff tells somebody that he's just there to deliver a message. He's not an enemy. He's not necessarily a friend either. He's just the messenger. And if you think back to the ancient times, if you've got two countries that are at war with each other, and you want to have an armistice or a peace treaty or a truce, you've got to send the messenger. In our culture, we think of somebody having a white flag to say hey, don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger, we just want to talk. That's what his staff, again called the caduceus, symbolizes. And generally, he will also have some sort of strange or cool or funky hat. Either a helmet or a hat or some sort of headgear that usually the other gods and goddesses don't have. Here you see Hermes talking to Athena, and you can recognize Poseidon by his trident right there. We haven't covered Athena yet, but Athena is usually very recognizable, as you can see. Okay. Here we have a relief sculpture of Hermes. Again, relief sculpture is where you have the side of something, like a wall made of marble or stone or even bronze or brass. And then the sculpture is kind of sculpted out of it, but it's still along a wall. So it's sort of a combination of 2D and 3D art. Again, the hat. Different artists will depict it differently, but usually it will stand out. And here it appears to be missing his caduceus, or maybe it was in his hand and it broke off. Sometimes Hermes will look a lot like Ares. Like Hephaestus and Ares, Hermes will usually be somewhere in the middle of age range. Again, Apollo as very, very young, Poseidon and Zeus as being old, and again, Hermes, Hephaestus, Ares somewhere in the middle. Here he looks a little bit older. You find a lot of statues of Hermes that are just his head. They were called Hermes, and it was just really, really frequent to have them around. Again, he represents a lot of things: travel, quickness, theft, business, delivering messages. Here's another Hermes. You can see note the similarity. And remember, again, artists, you don't want to say copy each other. Artists are influenced by other artists. So once you have a few prominent depictions in sculpture or in painting, frequently you'll see other sculptors and painters imitate them. Again, notice the similarities between these, and these are from vast different, they might be 300 years apart or 400 years apart. That's generally what the classical Hermes is going to look like in a sculpture. Now in vase paintings, again, the hat is going to be the prominent feature, although artists really do depict it very, very differently. This one, and this is probably the most famous vase painting of him, is really kind of unique. It's a hat that you're not going to see any other Greek kind of wear. And here he's delivering a message in a scroll. This is actually his mother, Maia, who is a minor goddess. So Hermes' parents are Zeus/Jupiter, and not Hera. Again, Zeus is a bad husband. Zeus is not a model figure of behavior. Zeus doesn't behave well. Greeks did not tell their children to grow up to be just like Zeus. Zeus was more of a powerful ruler to be feared. And again, the gods don't behave very well. We talked about that a lot in the last video about Hephaestus. So Maia is a minor goddess, and Maia is mostly known as being the mother of Hermes here. Here we see Hermes, again, delivering a message. In this one, you can see his staff really, really well. Now, in the ancient versions, you're never going to see wings coming off of the staff. It's going to be kind of like circles. That'll eventually develop into these nice wings. And in the ancient versions, you're never going to see a snake wrapped around it. That's actually a different god a different god called Asclepius, the god of medicine. But eventually, the staff of Asclepius, which had the snakes around it, and the staff of Hermes, which again first had circles and then kind of developed into wings, get merged into one in modern times, and now we see those on like ambulances and hospitals. And that represents Asclepius, not Hermes, but oftentimes ideas from different gods get merged or confused. So again, he's got a cool hat, right? Like he's got a different artists give him a lot of different headgear. And again, I think it's something to make him recognizable as like, he's not an enemy. He's not, maybe he's not a friend either. He's just there to deliver a message. And the staff here, really cool. Really classic Hermes pose there. Okay, so here's a later painting, and you could see, look at his hat now. It's got wings on it. And this is really prominent too in lots of his depictions. Shoes or sandals or boots that also have wings. And that depicts his speed, and that he can fly, and that he can go really, really, really fast. Because when the gods need to deliver a message, it's almost instantaneous. Hermes flies down, and he doesn't need any magical animal to ride on, or even a chariot. He flies all by himself. And you'll notice he doesn't have his staff. No caduceus here. Here are his spears. He's a fighter as well. Here we see him with Persephone, different story. We'll talk about Persephone in a different folder. Notice his hat again. Notice his staff there. Again, just kind of circles instead of wings. He also delivers people as messages. So if you do know the story of Persephone, he's the one that takes Persephone down to the underworld and takes Persephone back up to the upper world. We'll handle the Persephone story when we talk about Demeter. Okay, here is Hermes as a killer. He's got a sword. His hat is off his head, and here he's attacking Argus, the many-eyed creature that's looking after Io. All right, here is our very Roman. This is how he's going to be depicted by the Romans, which again are several hundred years after the Greeks, and in classical Renaissance times. In Renaissance times, he's going to have a helmet with wings on it. Here you see how the snake and the wings have been merged. So again, ideas being taken from Asclepius. That is, the snake's not, in the ancient times, the snake's not associated with Hermes, it's Asclepius. So this is Renaissance era. And does he have cool shoes? He does. Look at the wings on his shoes. Okay. Here he's painting, and I haven't been able to figure out why, but I think an artist in the this is from like the 1700s, 1800s. I think the artist maybe was like, what if Hermes was a painter? But you'll see that there's his rod again, his staff, which again doesn't have the feathers now. It just seems to have some circles on it. His hat here though is the thing that attention is really drawn towards. Here a helmet again with some really cool wings on it. Okay. And his Roman name is Mercury. And if you think about planets of the solar system, Mars, that's Aries, is the red planet. Again, Aries is associated with death and killing and war. And then Hermes is Mercury, which is the closest planet to the sun, and it's traveling the fastest around the sun. So when astronomers discovered the planet Mercury, which only happened a few hundred years ago, because you can't see it without a telescope, they named it after that Roman god, Mercury, because it moves so quickly. So Hermes or Mercury, the messenger of the gods, son of Zeus and Maya, notable for the wings on his hat and his shoes, notable also for his staff called the caduceus. Okay, once again, that is Hermes. All right, Wale tape.